name's Lanny. Today I'm kind of stressing out because in like almost exactly a month we're going to have this giant exam in European history that's like kind of countrywide, so if anyone else is kind of stressing out with me, here's my really bad summary of a summary of a summary of the beginning of the Renaissance. And the Renaissance pretty much started because of the Ottoman Empire sacking of Constantinople. To begin, we're going to go back to where everything almost kind of really started, Italy. But to be more specific, really Florence, Venice, and Milan. I don't think that's how you pronounce it. But to be extra more specific, we're going to go back to Florence, which is where the Renaissance originally started. In Florence, we have the Medicis, which is a really powerful family, which is pretty much in charge of everything. I think they were bankers. And the city was a hub for learning and merchant families. And the Renaissance actually started in Italy because it was never part of a feudal system. It had a really strong city-state government kind of thing, and it was a central pathway between Europe and the rest of the East world, whatever. And now the Renaissance. The Renaissance pretty much focused on secularism, humanism, and individualism, which is pretty much just saying that people started caring about themselves, because in the Middle Ages, or as the Dark Ages, as Petrarch would like to say, everyone really focused on religion and God. But with secularism and individualism, people started focusing on themselves. And also the Renaissance is pretty much humanists learning from the classics. Like, they're going back and reading old books and they're being like, wow, we should learn from this. Hi, it's Lanny from the future. I just wanted to say that the humanists didn't quite believe everything that the Catholic Church was saying, so they went back to old books to see what was really the truth of everything. The Catholic Church pretty much had everyone in a box, and everyone had to conform to this box, and I forgot the name for it, so I'll just put the name here, but that happened. And also with the Renaissance, there was a lot of new art, and most of it was actually more materialistic, and it didn't focus on the church as much as it did in the Dark Ages. A majority of the art was actually for patrons, which are people who I think paid artists to draw certain things. A lot of the patrons wanted to show off their wealth and then have selfies of themselves. But Renaissance art also had a lot of new things. For example, they had depth of field, they used light and shadows, and they had symmetry. They also mixed classical themes with Christian themes. For example, the School of Athens. This painting is pretty much a lot of new people mixed with a lot of old people from like the negative a billion ages. I think the artist actually drew himself in there. While we're talking about art, Isabella d'Este, I think that's how you pronounce it, who is super famous, and she was a really big art patron. And in the northern countries, they really liked the idea of the Renaissance, so they went to Italy to go see what was going on. Actually, I think they went to Rome, but then they really liked it, so they brought it up to their own countries, but they had a little twist to it. The northern Renaissance was more based off religion, but this also led to a lot of really cool things. For example, the printing press in 1453, which was a really, really big deal because it spread humanist ideas everywhere in Europe and had like a kind of freedom of speech feel, but not really freedom of speech. And artists actually started oil painting and secular painting and nature painting and all that sort of painting. And Thomas More wrote Utopia, and we're all book lovers here, so you probably know what utopia means. So he wrote that, and it's kind of a big deal. And then there was Erasmus, who was the prince of humanists, and he was a very devout, I think that's the word, Catholic. So that means that he wanted to reform the church, but he didn't want to completely change it. And also I think he translated the New Testaments of the Bible to Greek and Latin. And because the exam is now changed, and it's a lot of quotes and it's a lot of documents that you're analyzing and asking questions about, you should probably know some people. So here's a lot of people. There's Christine de Pizan, which was pretty much the first feminist. Pizan, that's close to pizza. Feminist, see the connection? I don't, but we need mnemonics here. And also Balasacre and Castillon. He wrote the Courier, and he was saying that the best courier is someone who's really intelligent and really charming, and the women were just ornaments for husbands, but they should also be educated. I'm pretty sure it's spelled Castiglion, and then the Courier, so they both have C's, and castles deserve couriers. Niccolo Machiavelli also wrote The Prince, which is pretty much a really pessimistic view of humans. He was saying that rulers have to rule with an iron fist, and the ends justifies the means. And speaking about ruling, along with the Renaissance, there were new monarchs. But it's not only the Renaissance that brought along these new monarchs. It was also the end of the 100 Years' War and the Great Schism, which really depleted the power of the clergy and the nobles. These new monarchs were a lot better than these old medieval kings. Medieval kings got money from private estates, had no real military, leaned on nobles for advice, and the Pope had more power than them. But with these new monarchs, they got their money from taxes and actually had professional armies. They relied more on the educated middle class and had new relationships with the church. Some of these new monarchs include Francis I from France, who was the first person to respond to Your Majesty. And then there's Henry VII, who made the Court of Stars. I'm pretty sure that was like a secret thing of nobles spying on nobles. And also there was the Henry VIII from England, and he was known as the defender of the faith. But as soon as he wanted a divorce with his wife and the Pope wouldn't let him get a divorce, he split up from the Catholic Church and started his new religion. And then there's Charles the X11 from England, because I think that's 12, but I'm not sure. And he made the tax on salt. And then there was Ferdinand and Isabella. They were actually a union between Castile and Aragon. I don't know how to pronounce any of this. And then they also made the Inquisition, and if you read the Mortal Instruments, then you know the Inquisition. It's a super strict religious police force, pretty much. And so Spain stayed really religious for a really long time. And so that was my summary of a summary of a summary, and I don't think I'm going to be doing this for every unit because that's a lot of units to cover. But yeah, I hope you kind of learned or kind of remembered that we had to study for the test in like a month. I'm gonna cry. Bye!